Football used to be played like this, with balls like this, on pitches like this. Now football looks like this, with balls like this. And today we're going to be talking about the evolution and the whole history of football. Everything you need to know about the history of football, really. It all starts. Let's start with the late 1800s and early 1900s, when football was just played on muddy pitches, really poor quality pitches. Obviously, it was mainly people playing for their local teams with bad footballs, and you'd be very lucky to go and watch the game because there was not many people who were able to go and watch because the stadiums were very, very small, and obviously there was no not many cameras, so you couldn't really watch it on TV. However, in 1930, something mad happened, something that would change football history forever. The first World Cup was founded. The first World Cup took place. The eventual winners were Uruguay. But this year, 1930, had a big impact on football history ever since. In the 1950s, Real Madrid were the dominant force. Their star player was Di Stefano. They won 5 Champions Leagues in a row, and Di Stefano was the star player. In 1958, a new star was born. His name was Pelé. He became the youngest ever player to win the World Cup at just 17. Isn't that mad? In the 1960s, going into the 1960s, football really started to pick up. The 2 star players were, of course, Pelé and Eusebio. Now, you might wonder, what was going on in England at this time? Well, the dominant force were Manchester United. The manager was Matt Busby. But most football fans and pretty much all Man United fans know who this guy is. But what most people don't know is what I am about to say. Man United fans, most of you probably won't know this. Matt Busby, this guy here, was actually set to manage Liverpool. He even played for Liverpool, but Manchester United offered him the contract first. This led Liverpool turning their attention to this man, Bill Shankly. When Bill Shankly joined Liverpool was struggling in the 2nd division of English football. But by the end of his career in Liverpool, Bill Shankly became a legend, winning multiple trophies and making Liverpool one of the best teams around. However, he still couldn't quite win the European Cup. In 1970, it was announced that a 1970 World Cup would be Pelé's last tournament for Brazil. The fans and players of Brazil were determined to win it for him, and in the end, they did. In the 1970s, because of Pelé's international retirement, there was a man who was looking to start where Pelé left off, and that man was Johan Cruyff. He became insane for football, winning the Ballon d'Or 3 times, and he was the next great player after Pelé. Now, back over to England, something crazy happened. Bill Shankly, the legendary manager, left Liverpool in 1974. Liverpool then went and signed Bob Paisley, whose aim was to do everything that Bill Shankly done, and also bring Liverpool the European Cup. He did just that, winning 3 Champions Leagues and many more trophies from the late 70s to the early 80s. Now, I'm going to speak about the 80s, but when I speak about the 80s, I just must mention this man, Diego Maradona. He started in the 70s, but his prime was in the 80s. He even won the World Cup. Now, In the 1986 and 1985, in fact, English clubs were banned from Europe, and this meant that all the other teams and leagues around Europe had a better chance of being able to dominate the world. But the question was, who was going to pull clear? In the end, it was the Italian Serie A, who had all the stars and dominated Europe through the late 80s and 90s. However, in England, people weren't happy about that, and that's when the Premier League came in. In the 90s, it was all about teams like Juventus, Inter, Milan and Italian teams, but that changed in the early 2000s, and La Liga got big because of the Galacticos that Real Madrid signed. And Barcelona had a good squad too. But something crazy happened in 2006. Italian teams were punished for match fixing. Juventus were punished the most, even being relegated to Serie B. This meant that many stars left the Italian Serie A and joined other teams, strengthening other leagues and weakening the Serie A. And the Premier League was starting to really rise now. Serie A looked doomed. And the Liga was not going anywhere either. And in 2009, Ronaldo signed for Real Madrid. And after this, it was all about La Liga. Real Madrid had Ronaldo, Modric, Bale, Ramos and Benzema. Real Madrid had all those players. Barcelona had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Neymar, and Luis Suarez. It was all about Real Madrid versus Barcelona and Messi versus Ronaldo. From 2009 to 2011, Barcelona dominated the world with Pep and Messi. From 2016 to 2018, it was Ronaldo Zidane who dominated the world. But from 2018 onwards, it was all about the Premier League and Liverpool versus Man City. In 2024, Man City made history, becoming the first team to win 4 Premier Leagues in a row. Liverpool, the only team to stop them in 2020. So there you have it, the entire history and the entire evolution